Now there are tons of DIY how to build quarter pipes on cheap, but none of them say the things you need to take into account and be careful of, the real truth behind them. And I think it's real important for everyone to find out what this is, because it's a real issue that a lot of people actually run into that I found on forums. And in the perfect world, DIYs go to plan, but they never really do. So watch this, because it will really help you, and I'll teach you how to do it, and the cheapest way, and the things to be careful of. So I hope your DIY goes well, and good luck everybody. So we'll start off with the materials. All the materials list and tools will be in the description. We'll start off with the cross members. We have 8 2.4 by 35 by 70s. One sheet of 2400 by 1200 by 15mm ply. 2 layers of 3mm ply, and the amount depends on the size of your ramp. Coping rod of your choice, we used PVC pipe. And a drill to drill pilot holes, and a drill to put screws in. Screws of your choice, about 150 are needed. Or 2.4 by 90 by 45 structural beams, and use the offcuts for the platform. 1 gauge sheet, we could only find it square, so we had to cut it in half, but it still worked. We used nylon, but you need 4 cast iron wheels. A circular saw to cut the ply. A jigsaw with a plywood blade. A drop saw. 2 sawhorses. Did that thing just neigh and move? What the hell? And finally just a wood elephant. Wait, why is there a wood elephant? Get him out of here. So the first ever thing to do after you've discovered everything you need and laid it out all neatly is to actually do the drawing lines of where you're doing. So what we've done here is measured out the length of a skateboard for the platform and drawn it out, and then we've gotten this string and run it down, and this is a real important piece, because this is actually where we stuffed up. See the line there? I mean, it looks okay from here, but actually it's not at the end. It needs to be a lot more fluent and more smoother at the end. Our issue was at the concave, right at the bottom. We didn't do it long enough, so when I went down it just jabbed into the ground and just threw me down. So it's really, really important to know 100% how you're going to do it and the perfect angle of the concave. So that's the main thing you need to be careful of, guys, and once you have that down, you're ready to move on. Put it on the horses and cut it in the line you've planned. There's an old saying, measure twice and cut once, and that's really important here. Once you cut the first one, you need to put it onto the other side and draw a line so you get them perfectly even, otherwise you'd run into another problem. But we did that pretty well, so just copy it over and just draw the line through it, and it should perfectly mirror the other side. Then once you've got that line, cut it the same you did as the last one, and voila.
Bruh, look at this dude.
Once you've cut the sides correctly, you need to measure out the middle piece, or the width of it. So we laid down the sheets that will go on top and found the area of the cross members, and once we found the measurement of it, we marked out on each cross member the length of what it's going to be, and then we started cut them. Cut stuff, always measure twice and cut once, because you can't take it back. Now after we cut all of them, we cut the coping so it goes over the sides of the sides as well. So it's just a little bit longer than the cross members, so it hangs over the side. And then once we've found the area of that, we're measuring around where all the cross members are going to lay, and we put ours 200mm apart, which is about where the recommended one is, and the one at the bottom we're going to have it long ways, because that's what you do. And we're also going to have some support beams at the top and the bottom that'll hold it in place so it doesn't sway around when you're on it. Then once we've found out where the coping's going to go, we're going to cut around it so it slots in there nicely. After we've marked out where everything is going to go on the one side, we're going to have to transfer it over. So we're going to clamp it at the top and just draw a line where the original lines are on the top, and then put it along the side as well, which is what I'm doing now. And it should look something like this. Then once you've marked out the areas where the cross members are going to lay, you know where to pre-drill the holes. So I started to pre-drill the holes in those little squares we drew. once both sides were pre-drilled, we know where to put it in. So we put the cross members where the little squares were we put, and then where the pre-drill holes were, we drill through there, and we're just going to lay them all on. Pretty simple. It's easier if you have two people, one person to hold it up, one person to drill them in. And you see how we put the bottom one in going a different way, and then the third one we put a stronger one for more support. And then we just continue to put in the other ones where the squares were marked out, right to the top. Now we have to mark out where the sheet meets the other sheet in the center, and we put that cross member sideways to give it more strength and connect them on both sides. Once you put all the cross members on correctly, it should look just like this. Which brings you to the next step, putting the top platform on. So to stand on something, it needs to be strong to hold your weight. So we put some of the leftover offcuts, chop them to size, and place them in to give it more support. And we put 3 of those in. Then we move straight on to where we skate on the sheets. And we put 2 layers of this down, and always make sure you're putting the hole in the right spot, because we put a hole in and it went through and we didn't hit one of the cross members, so it just went into nothing. And yeah, if you take the hole out, you leave an empty hole and it looks a bit ugly. So make sure you get all the holes in the right spot and it looks all neat. And once you've got the first layer on, do the exact same for the second layer. It's a lot easier said than done. Tip here to find where the cross members are to screw into. We put a piece of string and lined it up where the original screws were to hold the cross members in, and we just marked out in the roundabout areas that followed along the string, and it went perfectly on. Now once the whole thing's built, we just need to do the final touches, starting with the wheels. Now we used nylon casters, and we tried this, and the first couple of times we put it out, they worked, but after that they couldn't hold it and they just broke. So make sure you use much stronger casters. Now the final step is putting the metal sheeting on, and this actually really helps because it makes it a lot smoother transition going from the ground onto the wood, because wood, it's a bit more thick, so you just don't bump onto it. It's a nice smooth transition from the ground to the wood, and it's really important to do this. And voila!